have a special guest caller calling in. There was some breaking news that hit late yesterday afternoon where we have a former Republican Monroe County chairperson of the Republican Party who at 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon filed recall language to recall Senator Randy Richardville, who happens to be the Senate Majority Leader of the Michigan Senate. Pretty unusual to see a Republican filing recall language against a Republican, and Jeff Andrian will be calling in and joining us here shortly.
Well, that's and I think he's on.
Yeah.
Oh, is he there?
Yes.
Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning,
Hi, how
Jeff.
are you?
Thanks for joining us. We know you have to leave here in about 15 minutes to head to an appointment, but maybe you could share with us a little bit about the language you filed and why you filed it down in Monroe County.
Sure, I'd like to do that. First of all, I want everyone to understand that I'm not some rogue county chairman. I'd like to thank former Senator Mike Bishop for his leadership in the Senate. I think he did an outstanding job. He was there, and we could only wish that he was there today. With that being said, with Senator Richardville, I think it's a total opposite. I don't think he carries the Republican values that conservatives expect. And the reason I filed this recall petition is just because I'm really fed up with what's going on. I've watched this man do some horrendous things to individuals that disagreed with his policies he's trying to pursue, which in my opinion are socialist Democrat policies. For instance, one of the ticks was the government bridge. To me, being down here in Monroe, it appears that it's a political payback to Richardville's union supporters, which he has many. And you can check this on the Michigan website for campaign contributions. I mean, it's all there. And another thing that makes no sense with this is why, if we have a private individual that's willing to put up the billions of dollars to build this new bridge, why would we want the government, the people, our tax dollars, to take the chance to do this? And if it does get built by taxpayer money, we're going to have to pay fees to go across it anyway. So why would we not just pay the one fee instead of taxes and a fee to get across it? It just makes no sense other than the political payback theory to Randy's union friends.
Hey, Jeff, it's Trucker Randy. Part of that language that you put in your filing, I'm looking at it here online. You wrote out that this was 2 Senate bills, one to authorize the government bridge, and then one bill was to fund it with our road repair tax dollars. What was your thinking there as far as diverting the money? How are your roads down there and your local bridges and things? Where would that money go? How would it affect your folks' roads down there? Is that one of the reasons why you put it in there?
Well, absolutely. When I ran for state representative down here in the 56th district, I was interviewed by a reporter from the Detroit Free Press, and he asked me, would you support a moratorium on building new roads? And I said, absolutely. We can't afford to maintain the roads we have today. Now, does it make sense? Our roads are crumbling. Does it make sense to take money from this pool to build roads, to build a new bridge that's going to cost everybody more money? I mean, it's just absurd what's going on up in Lansing. And we have a majority leader, he's pushing his personal agenda, and that's the problem here.
Mm-hmm. How do you feel about what the feeling is amongst the voters in Monroe County if the signatures are gathered and Mr. Richardville's on the ballot in November for recall? Do you think the voters are as fed up as you are?
Well, we can only hope that there's enough people out there that understand what's going on and how much money it's really costing them if these policies go through and pass. I mean, they always say it's a good thing, it's going to get jobs, it's going to get this, it's going to get that. But you know what? If Mr. Mulrooney hires a crew to fix that bridge, it's getting, they're going to be jobs anyway. It may not be the jobs that pay back, some political supporters, but there'll be people working. So, you know, I
Right.
just think that I'm sorry.
If the bridge is built privately, you would think many of the same construction workers would be on the job as if the bridge was built by the government. I suppose there would be the government wants the control of not only who gets the money, but how much they get.
That's absolutely correct. That's right. It's picking winners and losers, and that can lead right up to about the third reason is him threatening the teachers' collective bargaining rights. Now, I'm not a fan of the union. I'll be honest with you, public employees unions, but he singled out the teachers union. He didn't say all public employee unions, and this was done in retaliation for a recall effort by the teachers union against I believe it was a senator, another Republican senator that was.
It was State Representative Paul Scott out of the 51st district there in Flint.
Right. Okay. So
and he chaired the education committee and researched and came up with that teacher tenure reform law, and that's why they chose to recall him.
Right. And you know, I could go on and on. I have a good friend of mine that I met when I was building a party down here in Monroe. His name is Charles Barger. He's a great guy, good conservative, very honest, church-going man. And, you know, he didn't agree with Randy Richardville's policies. And we were having tea parties at the time. As a matter of fact, you know, we started the first tea parties in 2008. And we were on a roll. And Mr. Richardville didn't like, that the points we were trying to make in our tea parties. So him and his mother had singled out Charles Barger and basically said that he had threatened to kill them at one of these tea parties, which was totally false. I was with him, you know, the whole time he was at the tea party. And he had to go out and spend several $1,000s to defend himself, so his CPL didn't get taken away, and all the charges and everything were, of course, dropped because it was not true. So, you know,
and isn't Mr. Barger's background as a military officer?
Yes, he's a former major in the United States Army, and very, very good guy. Very, very good man. Honest, dependable.
Hey, Jeff, I'm reading your petition language here, and the first paragraph I'd like you to expound on a little bit. What exactly was your reasoning for putting in this information about Senate Bills 992?
Well, you know, this goes right back to graft. I mean, this is, it's so obvious what's going on here. You know, we can go right back to when Randy was head of the, I believe, the banking committee of the state. Now, he was there when the economy collapsed. Now, the problem I have with this was he did nothing to warn the citizens of the state of Michigan that there was a collapse coming. That tells me, one, he was either sleeping with the bankers, or two, he was incompetent. There's no in between. Now, that goes into this SB 992, which is basically protecting leadership in a GOP for loans that they couldn't pay back to the banks. Now, I don't know about you, but he didn't protect the rest of the citizens of the state. This is only going to a select few of investors that are within the GOP and probably campaign supporters. I mean, this is all a game, and it's called follow the money. As much as I hate to say it, I went up to Lansing. I've talked to these people up there. They told me, don't count on Richardville. And I took a couple conservative candidates up there to run for state representative in the 55th and 56th district. They told me, don't count on Richardville for any support. You see how late he got in the game with John Manor. So, like I said, it's all a game to these people.
Well, this particular portion of your language says that this Senate Bill 992 allowed real estate developers to avoid personal guarantees on foreclosed commercial loans in Michigan. And you went in to say that the law was made retroactive so as to avoid a $2.4 million personal financial obligation for the brother of the chairman of the Republican Party of the Michigan. What exactly is that all about?
Well, first of all, in my opinion, retroactive laws are unconstitutional. But then again, we have to go spend a lot of money to defend this, our right for our constitutional our rights here. But yeah, this law was made retroactive, and if you go back and check the dates, it's made retroactive right before Mr. Shostak, I believe it is. He had defaulted on a loan. He was in it for a couple $1 million, and what they did is they said, okay, we're going to make this law. Now, Mr. Shostak, you're off the hook for paying it out of your personal monies, out of your bank account, which if you or I did this, we'd be held accountable for the shortfall if they auctioned off your home, after it was foreclosed on. So
right.
This is a multi-million-dollar bill that they passed, and it's just to benefit, a bunch of people that, in my opinion, have political clout.
Right, and a lot of these developers, they don't just give money to the Republican Party. They give money to both parties in an effort to help their businesses move along. But in this case, since it's the brother of the chairman of the Michigan Republican Party, and Randy Richardville co-sponsored and pushed the bill through in record time, it looks pretty bad. And there were quite a few, there were some legislators that voted against this, and they tended to be the type of legislators that conservatives hold up as the type that we would all like. Tom McMillan, Dave Agema, and I'm happy to say up here in the Upper Peninsula, our Senator Tom Casperson, and I know my rep, Ed McBroom, also voted against this bill. And I was glad to find that out. And Ed McBroom, I had a conversation with him on Friday night. Apparently, a lot of the legislators didn't realize this was basically what they call a cutout bill for David Shostak. And Tom McMillan had figured it out and let Ed know just before Ed was getting ready to vote yes. He saw how upset Rep. McMillan was about it, visibly upset is how he put it, and said, Tom, what's the matter? And Tom McMillan explained it to him, and he changed his vote from a yes to a no. So it appears that there was a small group of people that were in the no, and some of the legislators may have not even known what this really was. And voted yes. It'll be interesting to see because, like you said, this isn't going away because it's likely unconstitutional. So they pass a unconstitutional law. Now the taxpayers will have to spend a bunch of money to try to defend it when it may not even stand. That be fair to say?
Jeff, yeah, good point. Follow up to that as well. Is that one of the main reasons you did it and putting it in your language was so that information would get out to the public?
Well, absolutely. And I'd like to touch on the small group of people that are pushing these bills through. That's absolutely correct. We can't sit there and blame a lot of these junior senators, Republican senators, because I've talked to several of them, and they're good people, but you know what? They're junior guys. They're going there, they're expecting an honest guy to lead them, and I don't think that's happening right now. They're going in, and if you don't think they're smoke-filled rooms, I feel sorry for you because that's the way that the politics operates in today's world. Just look at what's going down here in Detroit with the Ficano situation. I mean, it's terrible. I mean, the people, they're being abused, our taxes are being wasted, and they're coming back for more money. I just, we need to get the people to wake up, and that's why, I filed this petition yesterday to hopefully, that we can get people to say, hey, enough is enough. I have a 2.5-year-old son, I have a 28-year-old son, and I have a 22-year-old daughter, and I'm getting very scared to see what their future is going to be like. If we don't straighten this out now, we're in deep trouble as a society.